This is going to be an express episode. We're getting right into it to start off because today is Tuesday. Today is the first day of the match day. Today is the first day of the UEFA Champions League group stages, and Artem and I are going to be streaming or are going to do a watch along on Sportrex, as you can see right here. We're going to be watching the Zenit Club Bruges game and the Krasnodar Rennes game. You guys are probably going to see this a couple of days after this, so this introduction really doesn't make sense. But that's why the pod is going to be a little bit smaller today, because we're going to mention just some small, cool topics and not really get into much debate. This week I only have Artem. Artem, what's up? How are we feeling? How are we feeling ahead of Champions League? How are we feeling ahead of the stream? What's up? What's going on?
I'm all good. To be honest, like the stream is going to be really interesting. We did a stream a couple of weeks ago, but that was only like an hour and a half long. This one is going to be a proper stream. This is like 4 hours. I like the fact that you just became a fan.
I don't know. I was already a fan. I don't know why it's done that.
Okay, I'm sure, Hanu. I'm sure.
I built this house, man. Why would I break it? Nah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Go on. So.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this stream. It's going to be the first stream we properly do, and hopefully we get a few good guests on. And to anyone who's listening to this who also listened to the stream, let us know how it went. Did you enjoy it? Did you want to see more of stuff like that, or do you want us to stick purely to podcasts?
Yeah, that's true. Do let us know whether you like the sort of shorter format that we're going to have, or because the Champions League is going to go on for 6 straight weeks. I don't think we're going to be streaming every week, but if there's a really big game or two, then we might do that. This is the first match day, so we're doing that. So let us know what you like. Let us know what you think. You guys obviously are going to be listening to this in retrospect. So let's get to the shirts right quick. There's not much to discuss this week. There's not much that we are going to discuss this week. The RPL back, international break gone. And some big results. Zenit beat Sochi, Lokomotiv beat Ufa, Khimki Spartak was a fun game. Moscow Derby as well. Artem, did you watch any of these games, and what were your thoughts on the game week?
Yeah, I watched the Zenit game. We watched that together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
That was a good game. Zenit looked convincing from the whole time. We were cheering Wendell on, even though the only thing he did really was 5 to 10 yard passes. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. Apart from that, I didn't really watch many games. It's nice to see that the teams with no crests are losing once again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that's the only game I actually watched in full. I watched the highlights of a couple other ones, but that's pretty much it. Kokorin scored, of course. That's a big talking point.
That's a big talking point. Kokorin finally scored, and my jinxes worked again in the RFN chat. I said I asked, "Is Kokorin ghosting again?" And a minute later, he scored a penalty.
But no, hang on. We have to tell them about the jinx that you had in the Sochi game.
Oh yeah, go on. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It was 2-0. Zenit were beating Sochi 2-0, and Hanu was like, in predictions league, I predicted, what was it, 2-0?
Yeah.
You were like, I just need the score to stay like this. Not 5 seconds later, Sochi scored. Not 5 seconds later.
I mean, it's tough out here, man. It is really tough out here. But this week, I think I watched Zenit Sochi. What happened? Who scored in that game? Wendell got a pre-assist. They call it a pre-assist these days. He assisted the assist, so he's already the greatest player of all time. Lokomotiv Ufa. Zay Luis got an assist on his debut. This was actually a good week of football, I'm gonna lie. Krasnodar, Rubin, Kazan. Yeah, go on.
Just back to Lokomotiv there for a second, okay? Remember last week? Okay, Zay Luis got an assist, right? But you remember last week how I said that Zay Luis, Eder, and who was the third player? Kamano. Those three would not score 4 goals this season between them. I'm going to double down on that because do you know how confident I am of that?
I think you're gonna regret it, but I don't know why you're doubling down. I thought you were gonna come in and apologize, actually.
No, I'm doubling down.
Okay. Why are you so confident about that?
I don't know. It's just, man, I cannot imagine them scoring more than four goals. Adair might get 1. Say Luis might get 3, and Kamana might get 0. Like.
So that's 4, though.
Look, 4 or less.
Okay, fine.
Is what I'm going for. I'm not saying.
I don't know. I think they'll score 5 or 6. They'll score more than 4 is what I'm saying. But this was, you know what, Khimki Kimki played like mental. Rizwan Mirsov became Ronaldo. Brian Ndovu became Marcelo. Uh, good win for Spartak. Really interesting game there. If you're the geek, if you're a geek like me, and if you focus a lot on players and signings, then this was a good week. Herman Anuka scored. Sebastian Thiel, he got an assist, whereas his brother got released by UFA, which is tough. CSKA Dynamo. Now the Führer actually came on for a good. You can see him there actually. The Führer came on for a good while, and the Croatian Modric got his first goal. Chidera Ajuke got his second goal for CSKA. Now, Artem, what I want to ask you is now, people they're not too impressed with the Führer, right? And I get why they're not impressed, but I also have a proper hate boner for Goncharenko's tactics because he plays too many midfielders. I don't like it at all. It's a stupid tactic. It's not suited to Ejuke or Gaich. But do you think fans are right to hate on Gaich? Have you already written him off, or do you think like me, and do you think they're being a bit too harsh on him?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. Every single time I watch him, he looks like a tree. It's just like his movement is just not great. Like he seems to be the type of player that you really need to be like putting pressure on the defense, getting him in the box. But that's not really the way that CSKA play, is it? Like so,
Yeah.
I struggle to see him succeeding in that CSKA team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame because there's so many memes that can be made from him. Invading defenses and all that stuff, but. I just, I don't know. It hasn't looked like a great signing so far. He could
Yeah,
turn
it
it
is.
around, but I'm not confident of that.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you there. And he went blonde as well, bleached his hair. So
He's
maybe
gonna
that's
put
what,
in the blue contact soon as well.
yeah. People that know history will get that joke. It took me a minute the first time Artem said it, but then I really appreciated it because it was a good joke. Rostov beat Akhmat 3-0. Hashimoto scored. We're going to get to Rostov's late transfer business as well. But a big shout out to Eldor Shomurodov, who made his debut for Genoa yesterday. Apparently, he was fine. The game ended 0-0. So the fans were like fine with him. He got substituted in the 63rd minute, but he did fine overall. So good luck to him. Hope he's going to ball out there. Moving on, we don't really care about much of the RPL right now. We're gonna quickly. Our next topic is going to be Dynamo's next new manager, Sandro Schwarz. Now, Sandro Schwarz is a German manager who played. What am I saying this today, man? He was previously the manager of FC Mainz, and apparently Mainz are just like a proper mess of a club. So the manager is actually pretty good, but his record isn't that good. He got hammered 8-0 by Leipzig once. He's been hammered like 6-5-0 multiple times. Now, Artem, I don't know much about this guy, but looking at his CV and a, a quick just looking at a quick glimpse of his career, do you think he's going to be the next Tedesco and succeed, or do you think he's going to be a failure and just dip in like the next year?
He's the next Jurgen Klopp.
Okay,
He's gonna win the Champions League with Dynamo.
imagine that actually happening though.
No, for real. I hope he succeeds. I always like to see German managers in Russia, and like in general, I like to see managers from countries like Italy, Spain. Countries that have countries that have the top five leagues is what I'm saying, pretty much. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's always interesting to see what kind of tactics they implement into the RPL, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about him. The only thing that I know about him is that big list of losses that you sent me
yeah,
that he's had for his previous clubs. So look, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Maybe Buvac knows what he's doing. I
yeah,
think Andrei Voronin, the Ukrainian striker, is going
yeah.
to be his assistant manager as well, which is really interesting for the Dynamo fans. He played there for a couple of seasons.
Right.
So don't know what to think. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, the same for me. Of course, I like Dynamo as well. I think they've had a good glow up over the past year, and they have a decent squad. They have good players. They have a great stadium. They have everything. Everything off the pitch is doing really well, and they've just sort of struggled. Like I don't think Novikov was the poster boy. Wasn't the guy that they'd like to be at the center of that whole rebuild. I hope Schwartz can change that. I hope he can get their attack going, get them free flowing a little bit more because they have talented players over there. So, we hope that goes well. Moving on to the next thing. After this, we'll get to the transfers. But today we're doing the Champions League stream, so we're not going to discuss any Champions League stuff, predictions, and everything we're going to discuss is going to be on the stream.
Man,
But
those games are so late for you.
those games are insane. But I want to ask you quickly. CSK are going to play Wolfsberger, not Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg. I mean the Austrian Wolfsburg, the B-Tech Wolfsburg, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know much about this team, but apparently they're fine. But I'm looking at CSK, right? This is more about CSK than Wolfsburg. How do you think that game's gonna go? And do you think CSK can get off to a winning start there?
Is it away from home?
I believe it's at home.
It's at home. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. CSK have been playing pretty well this season. Unlike you, I'm actually a
Oh,
fan
it's
of
away
their
actually.
their 10 in midfield tactic. I actually like their possession football and the way that they play. Um, you're right in saying that it doesn't necessarily suit all of the players that are in the team, but like they have so many talented midfielders that it would be stupid not to play them all. I look forward to seeing how they do. I expect them to win this game at least. I don't know much about this Wolfsberger team, but CSK should get the job done.
Yeah, they really should. It's not like a. They have two Georgian players. Shout out David Sansun. Um, and they have like only one or two guys that I've ever heard of. If you go off the market value, they're ninth in the league. So on paper, this should be a really, really easy game for CSK. But Russian football on paper, you know how that story goes. But for the sake of the country, for the sake of the coefficient, this is going to be a huge season for Russian football. So we do hope they win. I hope Gaich starts. I hope Gaich scores. Um, but we're gonna move. We're gonna move swiftly on to transfers. Now, what happened was, Artem, last week we did our podcast. There was not much to discuss, and right after the podcast, like 100 transfers happened, right? And just mad news broke out. So that means that this is going to be our lengthiest transfer segment yet. So let me start off. Luka Georgievich to Arsenal Tula. We're going to discuss a few of the main ones. Artem, really quickly, what do you think of this move? Do you think he
I'm
can do well there?
I'm a fan of him. He did well the last time he played there,
Yeah,
and I honestly I've always liked Luca. He's a really hard worker, so
100%.
I really hope that he does well. I've always been a fan of his. So do you know by any chance when he's back from injury?
He's back. Started the first game.
Did he? Okay, well
Yeah.
then that's really good. I really hope he does well there. I hope he scores more than Kamado, Zeluish, and um, that other fraud altogether.
Yeah. You know, quickly, Arsenal Tula squad is really, really good. It's like a proper team that can have an outside chance of competing because they've got Raskazov, Bauer, Kadiri, they've got the Kangwa brothers, they've got Lomovitsky, Panchenko. So that's a pretty.
I can't feel. I kind of feel that you're being a little bit harsh on Bilayev there. He's a great defender
Oh,
too.
yeah, and Belyaev, my bad, my bad. I missed him out. Belyaev is a great defender. And I think they've got a pretty. But that's the thing with Arsenal too. A lot of these players are on loan, and they always have a decent squad on loan. That's how they reach the Europa League. But they just can't keep those players. So if they can sign some of these guys on permanent deals, it'll be great for them. But I mean, I don't know. Then moving to Rostov. Rostov on deadline day and a couple of days before that were absolutely mental in the transfer window. First, they signed this Belarusian guy from Dynamo Brest. Then they signed two Swedes, Pontus Almqvist and where's the other guy? Armin Gigovic from Sweden. They're apparently two very highly rated youngsters for a fee of 5.5 million. Then they also signed Denis Terentiev on loan, which is a very weird sign. I mean, not on loan, on a permanent deal, which is a weird signing to me. But in the swap deal, they gave Chistiakov on loan to Zenit, and they also got 3.5 million for Alexei Ionov, which I think is some great business. And this now means that they can play a team of sign. I mean, no, there are only two positions in their team that they don't have new signings for. So they could field a team with 9 new signings, which is mad. But Adam, what do you think of this late flurry from Rostov? Do you know much about any of the foreign blokes? And are you more confident about their season now, thanks to this?
I'm not more confident about their season, no, and I'll tell you why. Because I think that at this point it's going to be tough to integrate all of those players into the same team and really have a collective. I think that it's good business in the long term. Clearly, they're going for younger players, with the
Mm-hmm.
exception of Terentiev maybe, players that they could probably sell on for more at the later on. So I hope. I like Rostov. I hope that their transfers do turn out to be good, but I don't think they're going to help them too much this season. What do you think?
I don't know. I forgot. They did so much business. I forgot to mention two players. They signed this Alisami guy from France. He's also from Norway, I believe. And they also got Tugarev on loan. And they got a couple of youngsters and Lugashov off to Khimki. You know what? I think it's I think it's good. I think they're going to do well. Um, in the long term, I really think that these players will shine. Um, this season, I mean, they've done okay, and I think without these signings as well, their squad wasn't too bad. It's just their attacking midfielders and their striker. They need a good Shomurodov replacement. Currently, Hashimoto is performing that function, but he's a defensive midfielder. So I hope some of these attackers can fulfill that purpose of replacing the big man. And I think they might have a chance to get to Europe or at least get some good results because we're 11 games already in so might be a bit tough. But I don't know. I'm excited to see these players play. Honestly, that's for sure. Other than that, in the RPL, we had Guillermo Varela go from Copenhagen to Dynamo Moscow. He's an ex-Man United player. Uh, I don't. I mean, I hope he does well. Will be interesting to see him play. Um, then the two others we're going to discuss are obviously Victor Moses from Chelsea to Spartak. Victor Moses went from Chelsea to Spartak. They announced him really, really well. And he even made his debut versus Khimki. I thought he was great. He almost scored. He was playing around with the Khimki defense. But, and I think he is going to be better than Mario Fernandes this season. Fuck it, I'll say it. But Artem, did you see any of Moses' debut? And what are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on
I
the
I didn't see the debut myself, but I did see some Spartak fans giving out about him because apparently, for those goal, he basically walked back into the fence and pretty much let him score. I don't get me wrong, I didn't see the highlight even, so I can't say if that's true or not. But I just saw a lot of Spartak fans saying that doesn't matter if he's straight off the plane, he should be playing better than that. But to be honest, I'm inclined to believe you because you watched. But I'm just saying what I saw out there.
Look, what I saw there was, and first of all, I don't know what Spartak fans are saying that, and those Spartak fans, in my opinion, are completely wrong because you can't say the same for Moses and then bear with Kokorin for all that he's all. I mean, look, all due respect to Kokorin, he's a great player, but he's not been great this season, and you have to give Moses time. He's straight off the plane, and he played really well. He almost scored one goal with some great bit of skill. The only issue I saw with him was that in the last 5 minutes, he was dribbling out of his halfway line and then sort of gave the ball away, and it only led to a shot on target which was saved easily. But overall, I think it was a great debut. He's far better than Eschenko, who's 39 years old. So I think he's doing really. I think he's going to do really well, and I think Spartak fans are being extremely harsh on him if they do want to criticize him right this second. Olivier Thiel is the last RPL transfer that I want to talk about
No, no, no,
because
no, no. He's not. You
no, I
can't.
mean
You've missed one. You've missed a big one. I know you mentioned him, but you didn't really talk about him. Alexei Ionov to Krasnodar. That's a big transfer.
isn't it though? He's so mid. Why do you want to talk about that?
Do you not think it's a big transfer that he's moving to Rostov, or sorry, he's moving to Krasnodar, a Champions League team,
No, he's
and
mid. He's
and it's
mid as fuck.
3.5 mil.
Yeah, exactly. Rostov ripped their hands off. That's the only thing I can say about that.
I don't know. Like I think Ionov, he's mid. He is mid, but he's quite versatile. Like
Man,
I could see him. I could see him doing, decent backup job for Krasnodar for sure.
he might start today actually. No,
He
he couldn't
might.
start
That's the
today.
thing.
No, he wasn't registered apparently, by the way.
He wasn't registered for the Champions League.
No.
Oh well, then he's just purely for backup, and whenever there's too many games to play, I'd say.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know. I still think he'll be decent. Like he played for Russia the other day, hit the crossbar.
I mean, I think he'll do a decent-ish job against the RPL teams. I would have preferred them to sign Zinkovsky or someone available for well cheap. He's still in the FNL, by the way, Zinkovsky.
For sure.
So, so probably that. But yeah, Olivier Thiel, I just wanted to mention because I thought that he was one of the more talented players in the bottom half of the RPL, and he's just been released by UFA. He's not got like a pre-contract with anyone. He just got released. He was playing in the B side for a while, and I just think UFA are primed to go down this season because they have had an absolutely woeful transfer window. They've got no good players. They're trying to salvage it by signing some bums on loan. But I mean, Artem, do you think UFA are going down, or do you think they'll just survive? They haven't won in like 10 games as well or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that it's likely that they'll go down, but never say never. It's a really tough one in the RPL because two wins, and you could find yourself in a completely different position. Especially like the fact that the RPL playoffs, with the FNL, like that's also a big thing. It might look like you're going down the whole season. You get two wins, and you're in the playoff places. You get a win there, and you know you stay up. I think that they probably are one of the worst teams in the league this season, though. Like them and probably Rotor.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. I even Rotor have a couple of players that I mean they're all loans. It's nothing to get excited about. But UFA, there's not a single player in UFA that I think would strike fear in any team. They lost their best defender, they fielder, they lost their best striker. So and they signed Timur Zamaletdinov to replace them. So I mean, I don't know. That club is lost without Gazizov. But speaking of the FNL, now usually I don't care about the FNL. I watch an Orenburg game from here to there because I love Orenburg, and that's only what I care about in the FNL. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to watch a lot more of the FNL now, and that's because, well, so David Sansun, friend of the show, last week posted that Baltica Kaliningrad signed a midfielder from Bologna, Juan Manuel Valencia, on a loan. And I'm like, okay, fine, that's mad, but I love to see it. It's a foreigner. It's an odd. I mean, some FNL clubs do have foreigners. It's fine. Then, since then, the flurry, like there have been like 20 foreigners that have joined the FNL, and these are respectable foreigners. These are, and a lot of them have been signed by the lower teams. So let me just give you guys the list of foreigners that have signed. Okay, Juan Manuel Valencia to Baltica, Miroslav Markovic to Baltica, Nemanja Pecinovic, ex-Loco guy, to Fakel Voronezh, Sergei Yeremenko to Orenburg, Chidi to Tom Tomsk. Tom Tomsk who are bottom of the table, by the way. Then Richlord Enin, what a name, what a bloke, to Tom Tomsk. Then there's a guy called Safir Emini, who's apparently on a 4-year contract. He's signed for Akron Togliatti. Herman Ferreira, ex-Argentina U17 guy, he signed for Akron. A Japanese guy signed for Khabarovsk. Then you have Sadiq Anthony Rashid, who's a Nigerian player who's signed for Alania. Now, I thought Alania were known for like their Caucasus thing, but fair enough. And then the greatest name and the greatest footballer to have graced this planet, Marx Lenin. Marx Lenin, what he has signed for Akron Togliatti. Now, Artem, you know what? We're going to start with Marx Lenin. Just what are your thoughts on Marx Lenin?
It is the greatest name in Russian football history.
It's
without
also the
a doubt.
greatest transfer in Russian football history.
It might be just purely because, like, I have no idea what they're paying him, but I guarantee that they're going to get they're going to get a lot of shirt sales from that.
Hell, I want to buy one.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either, just for the memes.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, we are going to try and get a few of these guys on the board, because why not? But like,
If
Adam,
anybody
why?
knows Marx Lenin, let us know.
Yeah, if anybody knows Marx Lenin or any of the guys in this list, just let us know. But Artem, why do you think there's been this sudden influx of foreign players, especially in like the lower FNL clubs? And is it going to increase your interest in the FNL, at least just checking a few scores or checking to see how a few of the players are doing?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I think it's always interesting when foreigners go to the FNL. In terms of why it's happening, I think I said it to you last week or so. I think that the foreign limit there has changed. It used to be, I think, one player per squad. I don't know what it is now. But I think that's probably the reason that now they're kind of seeing that, it's viable to bring in foreigners from abroad, and you never know, like one of them clicks and you can easily make a bit of money off them and really cement yourself in the FNL or even move up to the RPL. I think that's the main reason. Like, do you agree with me there, or do you think that it's something else?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the limit has changed as well, but if it hasn't, someone please let us know. I think what's weirder to me is just the high number of players that like came in. Like the one player sort of opened the floodgates for a lot of these guys, all in the last 3 or 4 days of the window. And I hope clubs have done some scouting and these aren't just agent-based transfers. And I also hope that because finances are scarce, money is scarce in the FNL. So my big hope is that a few of these guys can play really, really well and make their way up to the RPL, so clubs can get a bit of money out of that. And there's so many that at least a few will. It's inevitable. At least one or two guys will move up to the FNL. But yeah, man, it is really exciting, and I hope it goes well. And by the way, if anybody does want to watch the FNL, you can watch all FNL games on Sportrex. That's called product placement, by the way, for the marketing people. But what else we got? Right. Our final topic for the day is this one that we Artem and I have really strong feelings about. It's not a topic that has been covered much in the media, or not as much as we expect it to be covered. But some blokes are reporting that Javier Ribalta could leave Zenit at the end of his contract, which expires this season. And it basically says that the sporting director of Zenit, Javier Ribalta, is inclined to leave the club after the expiration of the contract. The positions of Andre Arshavin are strengthening in the club, and Javier is dissatisfied with some aspects of his work. For example, the fact that transfers of Russian footballers are not coordinated with him. One of the most striking examples is Sotormin's transfer. Now, Artem, I know what your thoughts are on this, but just for the listeners, what are your initial reactions from this story, and how worried are you?
When I first saw it, I was like, if he's really leaving, we're fucked. Like like Javier Ribalta has been one of the best recruitments that Zenit have made in years.
Facts.
Like he himself has brought in some absolutely amazing, amazing transfers. And I think that he is really behind the direction that Zenit are going in. Like the players that are coming in, the players like Wendell, Douglas Santos, those kind of players. Like it's unbelievable how much the team has changed since he's come in. And I really, really want him to stay for the long term. Like when I saw this news, immediately I was like, God, like this could be the end of Zenit's chances of like the sorry, this could be the end of Zenit's growth for a good while if he leaves. Because especially if someone like Andrei Arshavin comes in, I cannot see that going well whatsoever. Like I really would worry about the future of the team, like what direction it's gonna go in, and whether Zenit will even challenge for the league in a couple of years' time if Andrei Arshavin was in that position. Um, it's worrying signs, but it hasn't been reported much since the initial story, so I'm gonna be inclined to say it's false for now, but that could just be wishful thinking.
Honestly, I completely agree with you there. Now, Javier Ribalta, when he first joined, his first transfer was bringing in Marquisio, and I'm gonna be completely honest. I memed him a lot. I memed him a lot, and I thought, hey, who is this guy? He's just some other random DOF. But since then, I've taken back all of my words. I think Javier Ribalta is one of the best signings Zenit have made in recent years. And you're right, because why it worries me is that if Ribalta leaves, we know Spartak are in the ascendancy. right? They're building a project. They're doing pretty well. And I don't trust Alexander Medvedev either as the president of the club. I preferred not Alexei Miller, Forsenko, the guy who was before him. I think Zenit have, he's made some questionable statements. I just don't trust him. I don't get a good vibe. Maybe it's irrational, but still. And I think the eventual plan within the club was that Arshavin would take over this role. And I cannot see it going well either. I think it's just going to be like when Thierry Henry went to manage Monaco, he left in 6 months. When Vincent Kompany went to become a player manager for Anderlecht, went in 6 months. I think it's a romantic thing. It's very filmy, if you will. It's very that a club legend is coming back to the club and he's going to act as the DOF. But I mean, if I was Zenit, I think I would be doing everything in my power to renew Ribalta's contract. Otherwise, I think it would just be shooting myself in the foot.
Can I just say, if Ribalta's going to leave, can we just not put Andrei Arshavin there? Like, surely the people at the top in the board of Zenit know that there are better appointments to be made. Like, Andrei Arshavin, look, as much as I love him as a player, he, like, I'm going to just say it out straight. He's a bit of an idiot. I cannot imagine a football club being run by someone like him. He's an emotional person. He's been known to make a lot of stupid decisions, a lot of stupid mistakes. Okay, like there's countless pictures and videos of him riding around horses drunk, starting on fucking bouncers in London. Like he's not the kind of person that I want to run in the club. He's not. I'm sorry. As much as I love him and as much as he's one of my favorite Russian footballers of all time, if not my favorite, please do not put him in charge. Please.
Yeah, I agree. And listen, no disrespect to Arshavin at all. He's one of the greatest Russian footballers of all time. Of all time. At least after the breakup of the Union. But I mean, I completely agree. I think, you know what, I think there would be better ex-Zenit legends or players to put in there because Malafeev was in a similar role. I think players like Anyukov or Zhirkov could eventually, but in a while, maybe get to that. But honestly, if I were you, I would be looking for foreign DOFs ones that have done well.
This is one of those things where, okay, we get it. People have been good footballers, okay? But not every good footballer is going to be a good coach. In fact, a lot of the best coaches were never good footballers. Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous that people think that these skills are transferable. A DOF and a footballer are two completely different roles, and you need two completely different skill sets for them. I really do not think that. I would personally prefer someone who's absolutely never, ever played football. Someone who's built for that DOF role. Do you know what? I'm even going to name a name out there. It's not going to happen. 100% it's not going to happen. Thomas Zorn, exactly. Someone like that. Someone who has a completely different background, but just like they've been built for those kind of roles. Like, yeah, I mean, it's this whole romantic thing around football of, oh, this guy was the best footballer of all time. People are gonna, like, when Messi retires, people are gonna say, like, oh, he's gonna be the greatest manager of all time, or, you know, like fucking Ronaldo or anyone. Like, it's always like, oh yeah, Gary Neville's gonna be great, or like, you know what I mean? Like, even Frank Lampard is gonna be like the next best thing and everything like that. But those players had leadership skills already.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, Andrei Arshavin has not shown anything director of football like at all.
No, I mean, listen, you're completely right. And even a coach and a DOF are two completely different roles. Because
absolutely.
And people, a lot of the times people quote the most successful example, which is Zinedine Zidane, that he didn't have. But the thing with Zinedine Zidane was that in the Real Madrid hierarchy, he was like in there from 2012. He first was doing some advisor stuff for Florentino Perez, the president. Then he made his way up from the youth teams. He started coaching them. Then he became an assistant to Carlo Ancelotti, and eventually he got the Real Madrid job. So he already had 5 to 6 years of preparation for that role. And Zinedine Zidane is one of the most, he had his leadership skills. Yeah, we know he headbutted Materazzi, but nobody can take away from Zinedine Zidane's intelligence on and off the pitch, and that's why it worked out. But more often than not, it doesn't work out. And as a DOF, it's not just about being a good scout. You've got to take in consideration the financial stuff. You've got to take in consideration the human relationships. You've got to take in consideration the load management between the data people and the regular scouts. And I do not think that Andre Arshavin is built for that. He's been at the club for a couple of years doing some, I don't know, he got a project all for himself. We have seen nothing from that project. It was some Project Icarus shit. It was like he's going to be scouting players from all over Russia. And as much as I love Andre Arshavin, I just don't think it's going to end well at all. And I really hope they find a foreign player. I mean, foreign DOF.
I think everything you've said there about Zidane is absolutely correct. But you could also say the same thing even closer to home for Zenit. Because Sergei Semak, people might not remember, but he used to coach under AVB. He was there. Like, it's not like he was just picked up after having a few successful years at Ufa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was in the club before coaching. Like, it's this whole thing of, once again, romantically just deciding, oh, this player was a great player for our team. Let's put him in charge. Not how it works. It's not how it works. Not in coaching, not in DOF, not in anything.
Not anything at all. And because Javier, like a lot of players they profess their desire to become a coach or become a DOF from 4 or 5 years before they retire. So like Philip Lahm said the same thing. Xabi Alonso, he got his coaching badges, I think, right after he retired. So it's a long process, and it's a process that some people are picked out for and some people aren't picked out for. And I do not think Arshavin is one of those people. And you take a look at this list, right, which I've just pulled up in a jiffy. You've got Eric Abidal, who I would not want to see. Raulson Leahy, who did decently at Arsenal. You've got Boban. You've got Michael Emenalo, who I would love to see at Zenit. But Steve Walsh, there are a lot of people here.
Walsh.
There are a lot of people here that
imagine Rush is trying to pronounce Steve Walsh.
But I mean, there are a lot of names on this list that are capable people that have been at the top of the game and that I would prefer to Javier Ribalta is what I'm going to end with, honestly.
Look, the ideal is Javier Ribalta, but the second ideal is anyone but Arshavin. Anyone on this list that you've just named.
Anyone. Give it to, I don't know, give it to Andrei Lunev or something before you give it to Arshavin.
Give it to David Sansun, honestly.
Give it to David Sansun. No, give David a job in Russian football, by the way. That's anybody out there listening. Rubin, make him a scout. Make him a video scout. This guy knows too much about football. Give him something, man. But honestly, yeah, just give it to RFN. Give it to RFN to be consultants for Zenit.
Give it to RFN for the end of the season.
Yeah, give it to RFN till the end of the season. But I mean, you got anything else to discuss, or do we prepare to give the streets a stream? The big.
You know what? We said this was going to be an express/light episode. I think we should finish it off there. Look, guys, if you enjoy a shorter podcast, let us know. If you want us to go back to full length, also let us know. If you were in the stream, let us know as well. Pretty much any feedback that you guys give us, it really helps shape the way that we go in the future. It really helps the way that, we prepare content. It really helps us figure out what you guys want to see, what's more interesting for us, all that kind of stuff. So just let us know. Let us know anything.
Exactly.
Let us know how your day went, honestly.
Yeah, let us know. And we don't say it as much, but we appreciate every single like, every single retweet, every single reply you guys give us, even if it's a small GIF or even if it's you just liking it in passing on your timeline. We appreciate all of it. And we are honestly, every week we spend time thinking about this podcast, how we can make it better. So we started it off as just like a chat between the two of us. but we're seeing it evolve into something greater, and we want to keep the essence of the chat, obviously, but we also want to make it good for you guys. So, I mean, as always, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this one, and we'll see you hopefully on the stream later today.